हेलो एंड वेलकम बैक टू योर ओन यूट्यूब चैनल योर ओन पाठशाला ज्योतिशाला। तो फ्रेंड्स, कैसे हैं आप सभी? आशा करती हूँ आप सभी अच्छे ही होंगे। इस वीडियो में मैं लेकर आई हूँ इकोनॉमिक्स की जो लेसन मैंने लास्ट वीडियो में अपलोड की थी, उसका कंटिन्यूएशन पार्ट है ये, पार्ट 2 ऑफ द सेम लेसन, दैट इज डिमांड एंड डिटर्मिनेंट्स ऑफ डिमांड। So let me continue with the same. Yes friends, if you have not subscribed to my channel now, then what are you waiting for? Please do subscribe to my channel and help my channel grow. And yes, if you do like my videos, please like and share with your friends. Okay, let me continue. So in this video I'll tell you what are the determinants of demand. Yes, let me tell the audience who are new to this video that this is a continuation of ICSE standard 10 economics and the very first lesson, that is demand and the determinants of demand. I've already uploaded a video prior to this, and this is the second part of the same lesson. Okay, coming to the determinants of demand. Now, what are the determinants of demand? Are the factors affecting the demand for a commodity. When we talk about determinants, we mean factors. Determinants means what are the factors that affect demand. So the very first one is price. Price is first and foremost that affects the demand. So price of the commodity, the very first is the price of the commodity. Second one is the income of the consumer. So second one is the income of the consumer. The third is prices of the related goods. Fourthly, consumers' taste and preferences. Fifthly, consumers' expectations. The sixth one is consumer credit facilities, size and composition of population, distribution of income, climate factors and government policies. These are the 10 factors that affect the demand of a commodity in the market. So the very first one is price. So when the prices are quite high in the market, definitely the demand for the commodity is less. So the more the price is, the demand is less. The less is the demand. Now coming to the income of the consumer, if the income of the consumer is quite high, or if the consumer has a good purchasing power, then definitely the demand for the product will be, or the demand for the commodity will be more as compared to if the income is less. Now coming to the purchasing power, income can also be said as purchasing power of the consumer. Coming to the third point, prices of the related goods. Price of the related goods also affect the demand for a commodity. Suppose we talk about the prices of related goods. Like suppose I have demand for mangoes, but if the mango prices are quite high, then I can replace it with watermelon. The juice of mango and the juice of watermelon both quench the thirst in summers. But if the prices of mangoes are quite high, I can just alternate it, or I can just replace it with my demand for watermelon. So that is, prices of related goods also affect the demand of a commodity. Now coming to the fourth point, that is consumers' taste and preferences. Now during the summer season, it depends on the taste of the consumers. Definitely during the summer seasons, the demand for lychees, the demand for watermelon, the demand for mangoes is more as compared to any other fruit. So that is what is the consumer taste. So definitely when the demand is more, is more of mangoes, lychees and watermelon, definitely the supply will also be more. Let's not talk about the supply, but let me concentrate only on demand, because the chapter is only related with demand. So during the summer season, the demand for mangoes, watermelons and lychees is more, and muskmelon even is more in summers than any other season. Okay, coming to consumers' expectations. Definitely whenever a consumer purchases any commodity, his or her expectation from the product is quite high. Whatever price he is paying for the product, that his expectation is that the commodity should fulfill to the extent, that is, the commodity should satisfy the consumer who is paying the price for, to the extent or to the limits. That is the consumer's expectation from the commodity that he has paid the price for. Okay, coming to consumer credit facilities. That is, sometimes it so happens that we go to nearby shops who are just in our neighborhood, and we go and get things from them without paying them, and we just tell them to note it down, and we'll pay at a later date. That is also the consumer credit. So when we have to pay at a later date, then we demand more of the product. But when we have to pay physically, just in cash or just immediately, then our demand will be less. But when we are getting credit, then it's human tendency to purchase more or to demand more, because it seems that you're getting it free, so you demand more, though definitely you pay it at a later date. So that is called as the consumer credit facilities, that the shopkeepers are allowing the consumers to take credits from them. Coming to size and composition of population. Now definitely when the population of a region is more, definitely the demand for commodities will be more in that area as compared to sparsely populated regions. Now distribution of income. Distribution of income in a society also affects demand. If the distribution of income is equal, which is not, that is, distribution of income is not equal in any of the societies, so definitely that also affects the demand. So the more the purchasing power the people or the consumers will have, the more they will demand. And if the purchasing power of the consumer is less, definitely he or she will demand less. Now coming to the ninth factor, which is climatic factors. Definitely the climate of a region also affects the demand of commodities. Like if we talk about hilly regions, if we talk about deserts, if we talk about plain regions, or if we talk about coastal regions, so the demand of a thing or a commodity also depends on the region that you are living in. That is, the climatic factors also affect the demand of any product. Coming to government policies. Time and again the government keep revising their policies. So this also affects, suppose the GST, the taxes that the government implies on certain commodities, that also affects the demand for a product or for a commodity. So definitely government policies also affect demand. So these are 10 factors that I gave you, and I have tried to elaborate it also, tried to explain it to you as well. These are the determinants of demand, or the factors that affect demand. Okay, so let's come to the next point. That is, there are 4 kinds. Now when we talk about goods, when we talk about commodities, so there are 4 different kinds of commodities or goods. Now what are they? The very first one is normal goods, the second one is inferior goods, the third one is substitute goods, and the fourth one is complementary goods. Now what does this mean? What does, like, all these 4 goods, what does they mean? One by one I'll explain you. Coming to the normal goods. Now when we talk about the normal goods are those goods the demand for which increase with increase in income. So normal goods is like general goods that are available in the market. That is, are those goods that the demand for which increases with increase in income. Their demand increases with the increase in income. So we can say, suppose, let me give you an example of mangoes. So if my income, or that is the purchasing power of a consumer, increases, definitely his demand for mangoes, suppose when his purchasing power was less, he was purchasing 100 rupees per kg of mangoes per day, but when his purchasing power has increased the next day, then he will definitely purchase 2 kgs of mangoes for one. If the price is sold at 100 rupees per kgs of mango, then definitely if his purchasing power will increase, definitely his demand will also increase. That is 2 kgs of mangoes the next day. That is what is, when the income will increase, the demand will also increase. This is just the normal case. Coming to inferior goods. Now when we talk about inferior goods, are those goods that the demand for which tends to fall with an increase in income of the consumer. So even if, now when we talk about inferior goods, we are talking about less quality goods. Now even if the inferior goods are such goods, even if the income of the consumer increases, even if the purchasing power of the consumer increases, even then the demand for such inferior goods will not be increasing, it will remain the same. Suppose we can talk about common salt, that is the salt that we use in our kitchens. The demand for common salt will remain the same even if my purchasing power increases. Suppose if my purchasing power increases, I'll not be purchasing more of common salt or more of wheat flour of daily consumption, even if my purchasing power has increased, because again that is my necessities. So that we can count it under inferior goods, can be counted under necessities. That necessities of a person, even if the purchasing power of the person increases, will remain the same. If I am consuming, if I have the capacity or if I have the hunger to consume 4 chapatis a day, then definitely I'll be consuming 4 chapatis only. But if my purchasing power will increase, definitely the next day, if my purchasing power increases or my income increases, definitely I'll not going to eat 6 chapatis a day. I'll be eating 4 chapatis only. That means the demand for flour or the demand for common salt will remain the same even if my purchasing power increases. This is what is meant by inferior goods, or goods which are of necessities. That is, you will not be consuming more even if though your purchasing power increases. Coming to substitute goods. Now when we talk about substitute, just like we have substitute teachers in a school, like when our respective teachers are absent, subject teachers are absent, then we have the substitute teachers. In the same way, we have substitute goods even. Now if the price of a commodity increases, then we search for substitutes. We search for substitutes which will give us the same satisfaction which we have got, the satisfaction which we have got on the consumption of the prior product. Okay, so this is what is called as the substitute good. Now let me read the definition of this. Substitute goods are those goods which satisfy the same type of demand and can be used in place of another. So this is what is substitute good. As I told you, that if your respective teacher is absent, and if some other teacher comes in her replacement, and if she is giving you the same explanation or same class as the prior teacher used to give, then that is called as the substitute teacher. Here we are talking of substitute goods. If you are satisfied with the substitute good, and the substitute good has given you the same satisfaction as the prior commodity gave you, then that is called as substitute good. Now suppose the Colgate used to give us the satisfaction Colgate used to give us, and if we are satisfied with any other toothpaste like Amway, then we can easily replace it. And this is called as substitute goods. Now coming to complementary goods. What are complementary goods? Complementary goods are those goods which are used jointly or together. So that is two things like bread and butter, toothpaste and brush. These are called as complementary goods. Means if we are purchasing bread, we will definitely purchase butter. If we are purchasing a toothbrush, we will definitely purchase paste. So this is what is the complementary good. Now if we are purchasing bricks and sand, definitely we'll purchase chips and rods to construct a house. So these are called as complementary goods. So I think in this video I have told you about the different types of goods. There is 4 types of goods, and I have told you about 10 factors of demand. 10 factors that determine demand. Through this video I have tried to help you out, and yes, the students who come to me for help, I have guided them in the same way. I hope it will be useful and helpful to my YouTube audience as well. And yes, see you soon in the next video. Just the continuation of this, because the video, if I'll continue, it will be too vast. So let's shorten it, and let's stick it to point wise, so that way it will be easy for you to learn even. Okay, see you soon in the next video. Till then, bye bye.